And that's absolutely magic. Aha, see what I did there? Good afternoon, David Paton.
It's nice to be here, Mark.
Thank you very much for taking the time from your extremely busy rock and roll lifestyle to join us here in the metropolis of Midlothian and talk about your music. Obviously, we played there Magic by your band Pilot. What year was that in, David?
74.
1974. So.
I think I wrote it in 72, but we got everything together by 1974.
Took a couple of years to perfect it, or to remember what you'd written down in the first place.
Something like that.
Take us back to the start, Dave. Tell us where it all started for you as a musician.
Well, I suppose I have to take it as far back as the Bay City Rollers, really, because two of the members of Pilot were ex-Bay City Rollers. And that was Billy Lyle and myself. Billy Lyle played keyboards. And I was in the Rollers for about approaching a year. Mm-hmm. And they were asked to sign a recording deal with Bell Records, which I really thought to myself, I don't want to go this way. I think I'll take my chances by myself and see what I can do. Rather than be a famous Bay City Roller, I thought, I'll not be famous at all. I'll take that gamble. Uh-huh. So I left. And I used to attend the library in George IV Bridge for music, for guitar. And for maybe a year passed and I didn't see any of the members of the band. I saw Billy Lyle at the library and we bumped into each other at the library door. And he told me he was working in Craighall Studios in Edinburgh as a recording engineer.
Yeah.
And he said, there's plenty downtime in the studio. If you're still writing songs, you can come down, I'll play piano for you, and all you have to do is play bass and guitar for me. And that's really how Pilot started. We met at the library door, and I even wrote a song on one of the Pilot albums called The Library Door, all about that meeting of Billy and I, the birth of Pilot, really. Uh-huh. So, and that's how we started, and we just kept recording together for a long, long time. We compiled about 100 songs, 100 demos, one of them being Magic, and we had friends, family saying, these songs are really good, you should do something with them. Eventually, I was gigging in a place called Tiffany's in Edinburgh. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I just remember it, I've got to say.
No longer there, but yeah. I was in the house band there, playing 5 nights a week. And we used to have a drummer who depped sometimes, who stood in for the regular drummer. His name was Stuart Tosh. And I said, Stuart, would you like to come along to Craighall Studios, play drum for us on our demos? And really, when he started playing with Pilot, that's when the songs really started to take shape. And we sounded like a professional band.
Yeah.
And Stuart happened to mention to me, I know a guy that works in EMI Records. He's a label manager. Do you want to make an appointment and we'll go down and see him? There it was.
And there it was. And then you ended up... It's funny, actually. We were talking off air earlier. We were talking about Facebook, but somebody had put up a video onto Facebook of one of your Top of the Pops appearances.
Aye.
And you didn't actually remember that one.
There's a lot of them I don't remember. And when I look at myself back there, I feel like I'm looking at my son. You know, that's my laddie. That's what it feels like for me.
But, I mean, the Top of the Pops, you must have thought at that point then, David, that, you know, yeah, we've made it.
It was a roller coaster, you know. You just step on it and whoosh, you know, it's all happening, all singing, all dancing. We never got any time to relax or do any. I never got time to come home to Edinburgh. I was in London all the time. There was interviews to do. There was flying out to Europe to do TV shows. Unfortunately, we didn't venture as far as USA or Australia, but our songs were huge in these countries, and we should have taken advantage of it. But we had bad management, and that's part of the apprenticeship, I think.
Part of the apprenticeship, part of the learning curve as well.
Exactly.
Now, since those days, obviously, you know, you've still sold a lot of records, you've still done a lot of things, but it's been from project to project to project. It's kept going over all those years.
It has. A lot of that is word of mouth. Alan Parsons was Pilot's producer, and we picked him from a list of engineers that worked at Abbey Road. When we got the deal with EMI own Abbey Road, so they gave us a list of 10 engineers who were working in Abbey Road at that time and said, see if you fancy any of them to produce your album. And we saw the name Alan Parsons, and I remembered he was the engineer on Dark Side of the Moon. And I also knew he had been doing some of McCartney's solo stuff around the mid-70s. So we all said, let's get Alan Parsons. So I worked with Alan Parsons, and that led on to all of Pilot actually playing with the Alan Parsons Project. And then people get to hear what you're doing, and the guy that arranged the strings for Alan Parsons and for Pilot, he went on to produce Kate Bush. His name was Andrew Powell. So he asked us to play on the album, myself and Ian Bairnson. And, you know, it just goes on word of mouth, and then you get people like Chris de Burgh, Chris Rea, all these kind of people come along asking you to play bass, which is a great honour, you know, to do that. People that you respect and want to work with. So, word of mouth.
Well, nice bit of name dropping there, I've got to say.
There's more.
I don't know who's been the worst name dropper. I think up until this point, Bob Heatley probably came up with more.
I heard a great expression. Somebody walked into a room backstage and said there were so many names dropping you had to wear a hard hat.
I can imagine. But I mean, obviously that's the circles that you've operated in over years. Now, your last album was called Under the Sun.
Under the Sun, yeah.
And you've sold. This has been selling fairly well over the last year.
It's done really well for me. This is, we're talking 40 years on now from Pilot's success, and I've been putting out albums for the last 10 years or so, but this is the one that has really taken off. I have good distribution now. I think that's helped. I have distribution in Japan, I have distribution in the USA, and now there's downloads available online from iTunes and all the rest. So it all helps with overall sales.
It's a total different day for physically getting the albums out to the shops, having to have them pressed in time for release, and the digital age has made it so much easier to sell your music.
Absolutely, it's made it much more accessible to people. But there's a lot of people out there fighting to get their product heard, and I think it's because of my history. I've got a wee bit of a start, a wee bit of an edge.
Now we're going to play probably about 4 tracks in the next hour from the album. But the first one we're going to play, you wrote with somebody,
some Japanese guys. I've been working with a Japanese band called Beagle Hat. Their albums have done really well too, and that came about with them writing me an email and just saying, "Would you sing one of the songs on our latest album? We'd like your input in it." I said, "Okay." So they sent me lyrics that were translated from Japanese, and obviously they didn't rhyme, they didn't really make sense, so I ended up writing lyrics for the song and also added a little bit of guitar and said, just here's a bit of guitar as well, see what you think. And they came back and they said, "We really like what you've done, will you sing all the songs on the album?" So I said, "Okay, I'll sing all the songs." And that went on. We did another album, we've done 2 albums. Apparently they're very rare and hard to come by, and myself and the singer from the band, who I replaced slightly, his name is Hisa Tanaka, and he continued to send me songs and said, "What do you think of this?" And I said, "Oh, that's a good song, I'll work on that one." And there's one song in particular I thought, this is a really good song, and we worked on it together, I thought, it's so good, I'd like to put it on this album that I have now, and it's called All For You.
Excellent. And if anybody's got any comments, you can come on to either the Facebook page or email studio@blackdiamondfm.com.
I can't forget the times that you were here with me. I'm holding on to thoughts of how it used to be. Distant days and far away memories. Remembering the joy beneath the starry skies. You were by my side, time just slipping by. Distant days as I replay memories. Sometimes we fall apart, sometimes we never try. for me, then I will know for sure. We'll find the happiness and then the searching for